Okay, it is time for Sinbad no Boken 68 or Adventures of Sinbad, whichever you prefer. I just stick with Sinbad no Boken, even though the titles are Adventures of Sinbad because that's the English name. But whatever. Um, so this chapter is pretty simple. So obviously I'm not going to go into too much detail as usual with this series, but I will talk a little bit about the chapter, of course, because well, not many people review Sinbad no Boken, so I might as well, right? Um, so I believe it was about 1 week since the tortures began, and he seems broken at this point, to the point where it states like that he has basically like conditioned himself to not respond emotionally to anything, because if he responds positively or negatively, he gets like this. He gets extra treatment because, well, bad treatment, but because that's just how they're operating because they're trying to break him. Um, so it's very. I get like the wording was really good. Just the whole. Like I said before, in the beginning of the chapter where the wording and the art kind of went hand in hand and just kind of uh, told us that look, Sinbad is going through a really rough patch, and it made me really feel for him. Not as much as before, but still. So he basically emotionally shut himself down, which is nuts. It's Sinbad. And, Madar is trying to um, indoctrinate him into the whole slavery system without killing him, because she states like if we keep doing this torture, his heart is gonna like basically give out, which is true because after a certain point of torture, you're gonna die, um, because humans can only take so much. Uh, Even if like they recover from their pain threshold, um, there's only so much amount of like given stress that you can take in a certain period of time, both mentally and physically. So. Uh, there you do have to sort of be delicate after a while if you want to keep somebody alive. So ultimately, Sinbad, he's kept alive, obviously, as we know, and we finally see Masrur again, and basically sharing the same room as him, etc. Nothing too important, but then, of course, we find out that guess what? The children aren't all living in excess. What a shock! I had no idea that this was a thing. Now, if you can't if you can't detect my sarcasm there, uh, I mean we knew this shit from Jump Street if you've been watching slash reading the main series. We knew this shit, so you know nothing like a surprise. Shaku. Um, but yeah, obviously it's not all roses and I don't know what the saying's. I don't know what that saying is, but it's not all roses for the children. A lot of them are being traded, bought, and have harsh lives as slaves, like bona fide slaves, like underground, basically. Um, and so, something like this is going to have to change to the point where Madar has to move into a more isolated area to do the same thing. Um, so she can't be like on the grid doing this crap. She has to be off the grid. But right now, everything she's doing is on the grid, except I believe the underground stuff is literally underground as well because I don't think Rame would have. I don't know if the Rame Empire allows it um, because the Roman Empire, because Rome is supposed to be modeled after Rome, and the Roman Empire I mean, basically lived off slaves as well. I mean, most countries back then did. So I don't see. I don't know. It's really weird because it's not exactly those days, but it is. But it's fiction, so it can borrow like aspects from many different eras. Like for example, um, the knights of the Knights of Sasan are not, you know, are not the same time. That they're medieval times, which is like a good I don't know. The medieval times last quite a bit, but it's quite a bit after the Roman Empire. I'll tell you that much. If you're not a student of history, so yeah, I know I'm going off on a little tangent here, but I just wanted to point that out. But I mean, obviously, there's gonna have to be something like either it's going to be exposed to the empire and it turns out that it's not as legal as it might be thought to be for being modeled after the Roman Empire, or Sinbad just outright like fucks them in the ass or something. I don't know, because of power and shit. Um, because again, we know that Jafar is going to the summit where the king of Babad is, Ali Baba's father, um, where Mr. Saluja, King Saluja. Uh, Hopefully he'll be able to help. Well, I'm pretty sure he'll be able to help, and most likely it's going to be, the main members of the Seven Seas Alliance thus far up against Madar, and they're going to get wrecked. And I think Masur is also going to get wrecked. I'm just saying. I think there's going to be a rematch, and I think Sinbad's going to win this time because I think that's how he's going to recruit him personally. But yeah, I think that'll be about it. I went a little longer than I expected to, but I think this is a good length for the video. It was a good chapter. Not too much progression, unfortunately, but I'll take it. I hope the next chapter comes out pretty soon. They've been pretty good lately, so thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you guys next time.